So I wanted to come in here this morning and make this real quick video. This video is going to be about this spirit that is taking control over America, and it's been manifesting for the past 6 years, 6-0 that is, and the spirit has a lot to do with the attack of masculinity, certain agendas being pushed. So yeah, so if you like this type of content, hit the thumbs up button. If you feel guided to, subscribe, helps push the video to the algorithms.
This other side to the goddess that's transforming men and women. And is she doing that now? This transformation you talk about in your book of men and women. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, there was another side. This is the enchantress, but there was another side to her. When I looked at the ancient inscriptions, and again, it's not just I'm saying this, everything, we detailed this, in the book so that you see everything. The original, she actually says in Mesopotamia, she says, I am a woman, I am a man. Wow. It says in her hymns, in the ancient hymns, it says, you are the one who turns a man into a woman and turns a woman into a man. And so now she's the one who actually broke the lines of gender, bent them, blurred them, replaced the one with the other between male and female, confusing male and female, female and male, men and women, boys and girls, confusing them all. She's the spirit of androgyny. Now, this is her deeper work here. Now, what would you expect to happen? She won't hear, if this happened, this could not happen in the early 60s because it'd be too radical for anybody. Wow. But the thing is, once she gets possession of a culture, then she moves to this. And the thing is that actually, but it's all part of one thing, because the sexual revolution actually opened the door for it. Because the sexual revolution, you're taking sex out of the context of marriage. Yes. Well, you keep going, you're going to take sex out of the context of gender, of sexuality itself. Wow. And when you start destroying...
And chat, for anybody that doesn't know too, a part of the sexual revolution was a lot of unprotected sex and a lot of premarital sex, which goes against God's laws. So that was kind of like the start of it, and then it just grew into a deeper sin and a far more satanic sin. The spirit got its hooks. It got deeper into people's spirits, and it started to manifest. And that's what he's talking about. The gender. It started to go towards attacking the same sex. Sexual relations with the same sex, and a lot of other things that are against God.
Marriage, you're destroying man and woman. You're destroying the bond between man and woman. And you're having children raised without ever knowing that. And so then you can start saying, okay, now we can start destroying man and woman. We can start destroying gender. So what would we expect to happen when she comes into the culture, when she starts taking possession? You'll start seeing a spirit of androgyny, a spirit that seeks to war against maleness for men, war against femaleness for men. Will seek to, well, actually, I found the inscription says she grinds away the masculinity of men. So literally, she's going to seek to take manhood, and she's going to war against manhood. By the way, this is a goddess who had, she was female, but she had male nature, and she would never be okay with men because she ended up destroying whoever was in a relationship with her.
All my questions I've been having,
she raged against male authority. She raged against her father's the patriarchy. So you have all this going on. So the first thing is, she goes against manhood of men. So she's going to seek to emasculate, demasculinize men and start feminizing men. So she wants to take men away from fatherhood, men away from marriage, men away from manhood. And so you notice the spirit in her, it's crazy. Yep. Like if a man acts masculine, they'll say that's toxic masculinity. Well, the culture will attack that man. If a woman...
I was called toxic for setting boundaries in relationships with girls, saying I don't want to have sex, saying I don't want to take you out on certain places, saying I don't want you to post provocative pictures on the internet. I was told I was toxic, and that was me being toxic. But that's not toxic, guys. That's what we have to understand as men, that setting boundaries with the woman is not toxic, especially if it follows God's laws and follows what He has called you to do and called you the life to live by. We have to remember that. And whenever we are dating as Christian men, I wanted to point that out too. Sorry if I pause it. I know that this is I'm making a video too, so I want to add my value to it as well. So just wanted to point that out.
Woman acts masculine, they'll applaud her. What is that?
Wow.
That is the spirit of this goddess, and that's a real spirit. You can cut it with a knife. We all sense it. We all know it. And so but we may not have known the name. But so this is at work. So another thing, back then, we had shows like Father Knows Best. You can never have that today. Now
Nope.
fathers are depicted as toxic, or bumbling idiots, or overgrown children, because it's an attack on male. Because if you can attack the father, once you take the father out, you can do anything you want with a society. Then you can take anything. You've taken the authority out. Now, another thing is that's there's much more to it, but that's with the man part. But then with women, what does she do? It says she gives weapons to women. She militarizes them. She masculinizes them. So what she's going to do is defeminize women, take women away from motherhood, women away from marriage, women away from womanhood, away from femininity. So that's what she's doing. And she also makes women angry to hate men. The idea is divide. If you divide and conquer, divide man from woman and woman from man, you can do whatever you want. When you overturn marriage, you're changing everything. And you're changing family, you're changing society, you're changing civilization. So she does that. And then I said she's the goddess who's a woman, technically female, but she's filled with masculinity. So she's seeking to make modern women into her image. And so when you separate man from woman and woman from man, then you can do all those things. And that's what we're doing. But it doesn't just stay in that realm, because the thing is, and this is going to show something, like even radical feminism is linked to this goddess, right? The thing, but it's all linked together. What we're seeing right now with
kind of makes me wonder too if the feminism movement of the 1970s was also linked to this spirit. Because I do believe that they need to vote, right? They do have a voice in the government. They do have things that the feminism movement did give them, but it also gave them things that empower them a little too much as in taking away certain rights against abortion that go against God's laws and goes against completely what God says. Okay?
Gender, it's all the same spirit. It's all connected. It all makes sense, because if you say a man can replace a woman, can replace a man, well, like they used to say, you're going to get what you have now. So what do we have now? One of the things is that she had a mysterious priesthood, and her mysterious priesthood they were called the Asinu or the Halu. They were men who walked around her temple dressed up as women and acting as women. And so they were her priests. Now the thing is, if you see them return, the gods have returned, she has returned, her priesthood has returned. And if you see the culture celebrating it, that has not been. That was part of paganism. It was not part of the Christian age. And so now if you start driving out the gospel, it's going to return. And so the thing is, not only that, remember, again, back to what Jesus said. He said they come back worse. Well, she possessed a priesthood, but now she's seeking to possess an entire generation. She's seeking to possess a generation of children from youth, grade school. So
protect your kids. If you have young kids right now in these last days, you need to be protecting them. You need to be holding them close to you, especially if they're young, man. Especially they're on social media, if they're on their phones, you need to be monitoring that. As a parent, you have to be monitoring that. That's what saved me. I'm young. That's what saved me from falling into traps that the enemy had for me. My parents saved me I didn't get a phone till I was 17. Okay, that's unheard of nowadays. Kids have phones in 5th grade and 4th grade at 10 years old. So if you're a parent listening to this right now, you need to make sure that you are guarding and protecting their hearts. Enemy, okay? Because they are very susceptible, especially at a young age. And this spirit from the devil. So we have to be as innocent as doves and as wise as serpents. Okay? So we need to go out there and we have to protect your children, protect your young.
That's why it's happening and try. But it wasn't just that, because remember what I said in that inscription. It says, "You turn a man into a woman. You turn a woman into a..." Now it does say you dress a man as a woman. It does say you dress a woman as a man. She did that. but it says you turn them. So the thing is, some of her priests were not just men who dress as women. Many of them were men who had been surgically transitioned by the spirit of the goddess into appearing as women. That affected their hormones. Transition. She is the goddess who turns, transitions. And so not only that, Isaiah, it's that actually I found it in scripture, I put it in the Return of the Gods, that it says that these transition men would dance before the goddess, holding up scalpels as if to celebrate their transition.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you have all that happening. And again, now it's happening to children. And even non-believers are saying this is madness. What would possess an adult to surgically alter a mutilated child? Well, this would possess them. This would possess them. This is all over our culture. I mean, this is so big, it's affected everything, but it all makes sense because it's exactly what would happen if we were, Isaiah, if we knew the mystery, if believers were really in tune with what God said about this, the warning, back in the early 60s when we took away prayer, we could have seen, where this is going to end with all this.
Yep. Wow. And here we are, and people that were alive in the 60s, and we hear this all the time. I'm only 31, and I feel this as well. I'm thinking, if you told someone in the 60s about this generation and what we'd be doing, they would say, there's no possible way. That would never happen in a million years. And we've said that from generation to generation. Here we are now, where if a celebrity transitions, they get a personal call from the president. Meanwhile, you have a Medal of Honor coming home from war, and he doesn't even get health care. Here you have this balance shift where you're thinking, how is it? I mean, let's just be honest. Last week we just released a basketball player and traded her, who calls herself a him, for a terrorist.
Wow.
We have these things happening, and everyone in culture goes, "This is no big deal. This is normal." And then we praise these people, as you just said. We worship these priesthood. We dance around. I just read an article. They are now, you probably know this, they are now allowing young kids, 5, 7, 8, 10 years old. The insurance is certifying and paying and allowing these children to get, what would you call it? A sex change, a surgical.
What are we doing as parents? Let's just do it from a parent, not even do it from a spiritual perspective. Not even do it from the body of Christ. What are you doing? What are we doing as parents? I'm not even a parent, and I feel for these kids. My brother's 13 years old. Can't be going like. We really have to come together. We really have to come together. I challenge every Christian content creator on YouTube, on Rumble, on any platform that you're on, to react to this video. I'll put the link in the description, and we need to get this video out. We need to run it up. We need to spread out this message ASAP. This needs to be exposed right now.
Sex change, 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old. They say, "Mommy, I don't feel like a boy anymore. I want to be a girl." And then the insurance companies, they'll go ahead and say, "Okay, we're going to pay for a sex change for this young child." So now this legislation's going through. Wrong. And then also now they're saying, and you know this as well, oh, well, okay, look, you like young kids? You like 10-year-olds? I made a video on this. You like 8-year-olds? Well, you know what? You're no longer a pedophile. You're now what they're calling a MAP. You're a minor attracted person. So you're attracted to minors. It's okay now. It's okay now. You're attracted to minors. It's just a sexual orientation. The lines are being so blurred, and it's happening right under our nose. The laws are being changed. You guys can look all this up. This is all real stuff. The laws are being changed. It's being taught in high school. It's being taught in colleges. This is, as you've been saying, the enchantress who's been enticing, seducing, putting people under a real demonic spell. Meanwhile, the church is like, let's all go have Bible study at Starbucks. I mean, we have put our heads so deep in the sand. We're just filling people with coffee and donuts. And this message desperately. And guys, when we say get the book, we're telling you to get the book because there's so much detail that we just don't have the bandwidth to be able to just explain tonight. But you need to make sure you get it. And I know a bunch of people already are tonight, and dive into this. I want to also ask you about, I know we're getting close here, but I want to talk to you about the parades, the gods, and now the parades of the modern world. Now, we all know that these pride events, these parades that we're seeing are very big things. They shut down, Jonathan, you're right by New York. They shut the entire city down for these big parades that are happening now. And thousands of people, tens of thousands of people are flocking these parades. Talk to me a little about, what does this have to do with the gods?
Yeah, everything. And it shows also how big this is, because this is affecting everything. But again, you take out the presence of God, this is what's going to happen. And let me just say, if I just say this too, I'm praying that people not only get the return of the gods for themselves, but also get it for people in their lives.
Yes.
Because everybody, this is what it looks like. It's available everywhere, Amazon, everywhere else. But yeah. So, and let me tell you what we won't. And Isaiah, by the way, I love this. This is the spirit. You know, I mean, and I'm blessed by everything you're saying. One of the things I won't go into because we don't have the time, but even there was one event that actually began all these things with parades, with gender. Everything began in New York City, like many of these things with the gods, and it began at the end of the '60s. And I will say it was a riot called Stonewall. And the amazing thing is that that night,
let me know in the comments below if you were a part of that parade, or if you've seen that parade, because you know me, I'm not that old. So you older gentlemen or ladies, let me know in the chat. Let me know, I guess, about that parade.
These signs of the goddess start appearing on the streets of New York City, of the Transformer. I mean, it's amazing. I won't go into it, but it's even the word Stonewall is linked to the myth of the goddess. It's crazy. But okay, but now the goddess was the goddess of parades. The ancient hymns in Sumer say that she makes the people parade before her. Well, so now one of the things you're going to have is she's going to use parades to actually change the culture. And so what has happened? When I looked at the ancient descriptions of the parades, and this is what it says. This is ancient. It says the parades where she caused men to parade through the city streets dressed as women. She caused women to parade through the city streets as men, filled with color, filled with sexual licentiousness, and the bending of gender. Well, they're back. And the thing is, here's another thing. When they ended? They ended with the gospel. They ended with Constantine. The fact that they're back, we think this is a totally new thing because we have a short-term memory. But actually, this was actually happening. I mean, this is the repossessed form. Okay, so it's even deeper. It's even affecting more. But this was that. And the other thing, here's another mystery in this, and that is that, there was 1 month of the year where the goddess especially possessed the culture. And so I looked, what was the month? Now, there's a Babylonian name for it, but there's a Western counterpart. And I looked at the early Christian writings because it was still happening then, the processions, the parades. And I looked at the writings of St. Jerome. And in the writings of St. Jerome, he identifies it. And he says in Latin, the month is called Iunium or Junium or June.
Wow.
So June was the month that she possessed the culture.
June is
and the month, and this is the month linked to the altering of the bending of sexuality. Now, it's not that the people who are doing it, we got to pray for all these people.
Yes.
But it's not that they know it. That's even what makes it more amazing. They don't know it. It's because actually the Stonewall riots happened in June at the time of the goddess. Therefore, it happened. So therefore, every month now. Now think about this. You mentioned that we have nations that will give one day to celebrate their independence, like America and many others, but they'll give 30 days to celebrate sexuality. What is that?
That's crazy.
That's not natural. That's not natural. And it's all over the world. It's not natural at all. And the thing is that so here you have that. And not only that, there was a sign. I'm just touching again. We can't do everything. I'm just giving you a taste. But there was a sign from ancient times that was a link to the goddess. And you know what the sign was? It was the sign of the rainbow. The rainbow was linked to the goddess who changed sexuality.
Chat. You guys notice too how the devil always steals what's God's, okay? So the rainbow was given to Christians, right? Was given to Noah after God flooded the world and said, "This is my promise to you that I'll never flood the world ever again." Now, what do you go out in society and you're a traditional man or traditional woman, you see a rainbow, you automatically think, "Oh, alphabet community," okay? You automatically think you certain agendas, certain woke people, right? And those people, they don't realize where the origin of it came from. It got stolen from people of God. It got stolen from us, and now it represents something of the devil, something that the spirit has brought. And you see how the devil takes what's God's. He does the same thing with communion. He makes certain people in Hollywood, he makes them drink blood, right? What do we do in communion in the body of Christ? We break bread and drink blood or drink wine, right? For communion. And see how he mocks God? He steals from God. See how you see his sneaky tactics? You see how sneaky he is, right? So we have to be very watchful of stuff like this. And this is the reason why I'm making this video, is because I want to add on pieces like this, okay? So make sure you listen through the whole thing, please. Thank you.
It was linked to that. And the thing is, I even go through that every color of the rainbow flag that they are created, and the very significance that they gave it, each one is linked to the goddess. And so the fact that you see the rainbow, like I mean, this is also supernatural. It shouldn't be. The rainbow is on cereal boxes. The rainbow is on American embassies. We have never done that with anything. It is not natural. It's supernatural. It's a sign of the possession of the goddess. It's a mark. Now, the rainbow belongs to God. But interestingly, one of the things I found in her mythology is she's the goddess who steals things that belongs to other gods and uses it for herself. So the rainbow has been turned around against God. And there's a dark mystery to it. I won't go through it, but if people knew it, they would, if they had any sense, they would never lift up this sign at all. But let me give you one more thing about how this has taken over everything. And there's so much more, but I'm just going to give you this one. And then we can get to what does it have to do with all of us. But that is that even the decisions of the Supreme Court have been geared to the mystery, because there have been 3 major decisions that have changed sexuality and changed marriage. The first one is 2003, was basically normalizing it. Second one was 10 years later, 2013, striking down the defense of marriage. And the last one was 2015, which actually transformed marriage. That right now, the Congress just put into federal law right today. I mean, when we're recording this. Okay, so here's the thing. This is all linked to the goddess. But the thing is, the time of the goddess wasn't just June. Particularly, the crescendo was the last days of June, the time of the summer solstice, always linked to paganism. When that first ruling of the Supreme Court that normalized this happened in June, month of the goddess, happened the last days of June, happened by the summer solstice, happened on June 26th. The second one, 10 years later, happened last days of June, happened the days of the goddess, time of the summer solstice, same exact day, June 26th, 10 years later. The last one, which we all remember, when it changed marriage, transformed marriage, big. It happened in 2015, happened in June, time of the goddess, last days of June, time of the summer solstice, and on June 26th, the exact same day, that is linked to the mystery of the goddess. And remember that night, Isaiah, and we all do, when the White House was lit up in the colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
This was that spirit saying, that's my ownership. Now I own the White House. Now I'm going to own that nation. I'm going to own that culture. And
Church, we need to wake up. We need to speak up about this. You know, God is going to have... Calm down what I say. God is going to put his judgment on America because of this, okay? This isn't going to go just swept under the rug. Haha, it's okay. No. Pride comes before the fall, okay? The judgment's going to come. We need to step up about this. We need to stop this. We need to step up as a church. We need to step up as a body. We need to stand up against the government. We need to speak against this, okay? Not saying riots, not saying anything. Okay, we have amendments that we have. We have free speech. We have freedom of protest. We have all these things that we can exercise, right? We're not exercising them. We need to come together. We need to agree that this is demonic, that this is going to destroy America.
Once the sun set on the biblical calendar and the Babylonian calendar, that was the 10th of Tammuz. It's the 10th day of the month of Tammuz. By the way, Tammuz is one of the goddess's lovers. Okay, so and that was the month that's when the Supreme Court. Now, the thing is, I actually found an ancient Babylonian inscription. I put it in the book so you can see it, where it says, and that was the day that the Supreme Court said a man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman. That it says the 10th of Tammuz is appointed to cast a spell to cause a man to love a man. That was the day that marriage was transformed.
Wrong.
Wow. Shout out Isaiah Salvador. If you guys are on YouTube, go ahead and check him out. Obviously on YouTube. Why did I say that? Go check him out. Follow him. I'm gonna put the link in the description. If you guys have any comments, put them in the comment section below, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Let's figure this out. You know, we're a team, so let's figure this out. Let me know. And anybody who has a platform that's watching this, put this out on your platform, man. React to this. Put a clip on there. Do something with this. This needs to be spread. This message needs to be spread. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said before, if you feel edified from this video, if you learned something, like the video. If you feel led to subscribe, helps boost the video to the algorithms. And thank you, and have a blessed day.